I love having my entire life back in Talbot County now. So, I was born and raised in Talbot County. I am a Talbot County girl at heart. So I love having my life back in Talbot County. But, I was really attracted by the number of people we're able to serve at the community center and the amount of programming we're able to do. Yeah. And the fact that there are really no limits on what we can do for programming, except for the number of hours in the day, of course, because we only have so much space available for so many programs. But the fact that we have programming for children of all ages. We have programming for adults with our adult speaker series. We also have things specifically for seniors. Every Tuesday is our senior lunch day. And we have a group from the Benedictine school who also join the seniors on Tuesdays. The fact that we've got this really robust food distribution program that is a true need in our community. I mean, that's one of the things, and my good friend Dina Kilman, who was once the director there, 15 years ago or so, a long time ago, she told me that it would break my heart to see the level of poverty that exists right next to, multi-million-dollar mansions. And it's true. And some of the people, just last week, I had a couple of people come in after our pantry hours looking for food from our pantry. And I was able to let them in. And just hearing their stories, one of them is an oyster tonger, and without access to the food pantry, he can barely make ends meet, and so it's just, but I also, St. Michael's is an even smaller community than Easton, where I grew up. And so just that tight-knit community, I love being a part of that, of neighbors helping neighbors. Last night we had this adult speaker series talk with the DeShields family from talking about the Bellevue Passage Museum. And quite a few folks hadn't seen the building yet. And they were just amazed by the space and how well designed it really is to meet the needs of the community. So actually we will be celebrating our 35th anniversary in August of this year. And interestingly, I found out after I accepted this job that both my brother-in-law and my sister were once on the board of the St. Michael's Community Center in its very, very, very early days. And so I've learned more about the history because of that, and the fact that the center really started as a way to increase youth activities and athletics in St. Michael's. That was before we had a YMCA there. So we've been thinking strategically about how to do a needs assessment in the St. Michael's and Bay 100 community, because we don't want to come in and tell people what they need, right? That's not really what a community center does. We want to make sure that we're providing what they need for them. And so that's something we are working on strategically at the center, to figure out how we can determine those needs, what's the best way to go about doing a needs assessment, and how we can expand our programming to meet those needs. One area where we know we are not our strongest right now, and we're working to expand, is some of that youth programming for the middle school age group. One of the things we are going to do is a middle school dance once the kids are out of school. We're looking at doing it in June after the last day of school.
I'm having flashbacks.
I know, right? Because I already have 100 ideas in my head of ways we can expand our programming. But all of that takes funding, of course. And so I'm also working on creative ways to do more fundraising, so that we're not always going to the same wells all the time. So that is absolutely something we're working on. We also, I know there was a lot of talk when the center first opened about us starting a workforce development program. That's 100% still on the table. We're just not quite there yet. As I mentioned before, one of our more robust programs is our food distribution program. We are the only non-age specific facility in Talbot County that does all three food programs, meaning we have hot congregate meals, we have hot delivered meals, and we have the food pantry. One of the things, like I mentioned, we had a couple of people come in just this past week during our non-pantry hours. So I'm looking at ways that we can expand our pantry hours, but those are the kinds of program expansions that I don't want to have to do. but we do, because there is such need for food right now. The level of food insecurity in Talbot County, one of the wealthiest counties in the country, not just the state, but in the country, and the level of food insecurity is really, it's very eye-opening. And so I don't want to have to expand that program, but I do have to. So we're working on that.